and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed this afternoon by Peter Griffin and his dirt bike.
Hey, this is Ryan Villapoto, and listen to DMXS Radio.
All right, folks, welcome back. The silky voice of Daniel Blair means it's time for another episode of DMXS Radio. We appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Thank our sponsors who make this possible: Racer X, MX Sports, W Wheels, OGO Concept 2 Rowers, and of course, the great folks at Dunlop Tires. We appreciate them as well. Make sure you check them out at Ride Dunlop. And now it's time for the man himself, Colt 45 Nichols. What's up, Colt?
Hey, David, how we doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. I'm glad to finally catch up with you. It has been a minute. I text you every once in a while just to keep up with you and let you know that I'm still thinking about you and that I love you. But it's always good to get you on the show.
Oh, of course, man. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's Tuesday. Have you already started hydrating for Hangtown yet?
Yeah, I was looking at the weather and I was like, damn, that doesn't look that sweet. But yeah, I mean, it's going to hit us eventually. It might as well be round two, as far as just suffering in the heat of summer. So
yeah,
it's just pro motocross, and I'm honestly kind of excited. I mean, I'm excited now. We'll see Saturday, but it's fun, dude. It was really fun this past weekend. Obviously, the weather was a treat.
Yeah,
but it was cool to be at the first round and racing motocross again. It's been a while since I've been ready to go and got to race round one, and it was fun. So it's cool. You know
that you were going to pay for Pala being that cool. It's like we know that there's going to be a vengeance coming for this reprieve of the weather in California.
Yeah, no question asked. We got really spoiled. Even the weekend before, I did the Glen Helen race, and weather was really good there. Then weather was good at Paula, and I'm like, yeah, we're due for sure.
Yeah, they have a wind chill temperature. They need to have a helmet feel temperature. It's like it's going to be 103 today for all you dumbasses wearing helmets. It's going to be like 178 degrees inside your helmet.
Yeah, literally. I don't know what that would be, but wow, dude, it is hot. Like even just sitting on the gate before you go, I'm just like, dude, unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, that's motocross. It's been that way for a while. And yeah, like I said, we get lucky a lot of times, but
yeah,
it's going to hit us this weekend. No question.
What about the cool vest? I mean, will you rock one of those?
I actually ordered Ice Vest off Amazon, a little handheld fan. Like I got that ordered yesterday off Amazon just for the weekend. So I'm hoping I'll be ready. I've never done wearing an ice vest up to the gate. This might be the first go at it for me, but hopefully it helps. I mean, we'll see. I'll do anything I can.
Will you try it? I mean, that's the thing to me is I will try anything. Like at Loretta's, I'm driving around in a Polaris and I have 4 fans blowing on me in my Polaris. I can't even imagine, having to race in that. And then, like you said, those guys, there's no wind moving. I mean, the temperature just sears you and drains your energy before you even drop the gate.
Yeah, it's kind of gnarly. Like at Hangtown, we've been there a few years when it's been pretty hot. My 250 days being there, and got lucky the past few times even being there, being okay. But yeah, dude, it just cooks you, and it's different. Even in Florida heat compared to here, and a lot of guys live in Florida nowadays. And then you come out here, and it feels like the sun is just literally on your neck.
Yeah.
So it's just a different kind of heat, but it'll cook you, really quickly too, just like the Florida heat will. So it's going to be interesting to see this weekend. It'll definitely be a tough race to get through.
Well, you're from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Have you ever liked the heat? Like, have you ever embraced Loretta's or the outdoors or that kind of heat? Or are you like more of a mild temperature guy?
I mean, of course, mild, that's always nice, but it's, being from Oklahoma, we've definitely had our summers where it was just brutal, so then we go to Loretta's, it feels the same. And a lot of years that was the case for us when I was racing amateur. So I was kind of like, I guess you could say, used to it a little bit, and it didn't really bother me as much as maybe some of the other kids did. So, but now I've been in California for a while now. I'm used to like this dry heat, that I go back and forth to Florida every now and then, and it's obviously just a little more suffocating there in a different kind of way. And, it's just different, dude. It feels a little bit different. And both of them, like if you're at one area for a while, then you go back to the other way. It feels really weird and you feel kind of cooked. So I've done both, and I think there's benefits of both, but yeah, it's definitely just different, dude. It's hot. It's gonna be really, really toasty this week.
Like when we go out and announce straight rhythm and stuff, like I'll drink like 8, 10, 12 waters and never sweat or never piss. It's like being on Mars. It's not normal human nature or ambient temperature out there. It's just weird not to piss outside and not sweat.
Yeah, it is. It's honestly super, super weird. It just, like I said, it feels like the sun is just like on your neck. It's like just feels so hot, and you feel like you're just kind of cooking from the inside like a lizard or something. You're just so hot, but it is. It's just a different kind of heat out here. It's weird.
Hey, on a side note, what did you think of Sexton throwing his goggles so early in a dry race? Like I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I never. He must have some serious problems. Like I don't know if I think I heard maybe his lens was damaged or popped out or
had a rock in there or something. Yeah,
it's kind of wild. I've never seen something like that either that early. Like I've certainly ripped a mud race, stuff like that. But in a dry race like that, something had to have been just kind of really messing with him.
What is that decision like when you're racing a dirt bike? You're out there, you're in the race, in the heat of the battle, and you say to yourself, "I have to throw these away, and I can't see, and I might be blinded literally, but I've got to throw these goggles into the dirt."
Yeah, it's kind of a bad feeling, honestly. It's weird though, like for me, especially in mud races and past, like it's a terrible feeling and you don't want to do it. But then as soon as you rip your goggles, you're like, oh my God, I can see. Because you've probably been struggling with them for a while before you rip them, and then you finally rip them, you're like, oh, nice, I can see. And then you get pelted once, and you're like, wow, this is a terrible idea. Like, what am I doing? So you kind of get hit with emotions pretty quick when that happens.
We need to put Elon Musk on solving the problem, either the roll-offs lasting or tear-offs lasting an entire mud race. Why can't we solve this problem?
Honestly, it's tough, dude. Like, even this weekend, we had the crazy mudder at, I don't know if that Boston, maybe, wherever that crazy mudder was. And, dude, it was insane. It just, as soon as you think, like, the tear-off is sealed and you can't get any water on there, you get water. And then as soon as you have roll-offs, you're like, oh, it's going to be genius. I'm going to pull it 10 times.
Yeah.
And then like mine, like the pool broke. And I'm just like, dude, damn. Like, what are the chances? But it just seems like always something goes wrong with goggles. They're just really, really hard to get it. I've wore a lot of different goggles, and it's just tough, dude. Mud races are hard. Yeah.
Have you ever like thrown them and then gotten something in your eye and been like had to pull off because of that? Because I always wonder, like, because you literally, like, they talking about on the broadcast, like he couldn't even race that early in the race. You can't, if somebody gets by you, you have to let them go because you can't charge on their rear tire and getting roosted. So he was in a no-win situation that early anyway, because he basically had to have a gap to who was ever in front of him, and if somebody passed him, he'd have to drop back.
Yeah, I mean, you're honestly kind of screwed. You're just at the mercy of kind of wherever you're at. But then you go in, and you're like, all right, I just wasted 15, 20 seconds, whatever it is. So I'm trying to get goggles by doing a pit stop, probably longer than that. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's tough, dude. It's kind of a losing battle no matter how you slice it. But the mud races they're just really hard. That's like half the battle is getting up front. That's why guys are so desperate to get to the lead when it's a mud race. And, you just can preserve the goggle and hopefully make it to the end. Unlike everyone else, it's hard.
Well, I think this past Supercross season was your 10th year officially of racing Supercross, and I want to know if you could go back in time and talk to that 20-year-old Colt Nichols. What would you tell him after 10 years of experience doing all this?
After 10 years of experience, man,
like that green kid who's got the dream ride from Arena Cross from Oklahoma. He's finally made it. Now you travel back in time. You pop out of your capsule. What are you telling yourself from 10 years ago?
Honestly, man, when I was first coming in, I was on Crossland Honda, my first opportunity into Supercross, and I was just obviously so green, so excited. I just did Arena Cross before that, and Dude, honestly, I had such a good time. Like, it was cool because Guy Cooper was my team manager. He's a fellow Oklahoma legend.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a really fun period for me. I think the biggest thing I would have told myself is to kind of try to enjoy a little bit more of the process and understand that it's going to be okay. You know, like when you're younger, you think everything's still life and death, and you know, you have to do this and you have to do that, and that's kind of what makes it fun in a way. But also too, it's not make or break a lot of times, you know, like it can be. And then you kind of stress yourself out a little bit. So, that'd probably be the biggest thing, I guess, that it's going to be okay, even if it's not okay, you know? And a lot of times it seems like it's not going to be and life's over and, you know, you just ruined it or whatever the case may be. And, you know, I had my fair share of injuries when I first turned pro, and that was a tough period. You know, the first 3 years I raced were really difficult and couldn't make it through seasons healthy, and just kept thinking it was over, you know? So I struggled a little bit in those early days, but that'd probably be the biggest thing. It's just that it's going to be all right, you know? That's
very astute, because, you know, I asked Ricky, you know, kind of the same thing, and he was the same way. He's like, I wish I could have enjoyed it. He was so intense, so just over the top focused that he missed out on the enjoyment of what he was accomplishing at the time, and he never got satisfied. I mean, that's the whole thing is, man, if you can't enjoy being the GOAT, shit, we don't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's gnarly to thank him too, of all people, because he won everything there was to win, you know, and he'd done it over and over and over again and just never stopped winning. I mean, anytime he entered a championship in the outdoor series, he won. And
that's right.
Obviously he's the GOAT for a reason. And dude, that's kind of like a blessing and a curse, really, to have that. And I think I see that in a lot of ways, you know, with Coop, you know, like it's like he's never really satisfied. Like, obviously he's pumped, you know, he's 3-time Supercross champ, but that hunger and that like non-satisfaction with whatever that's happened makes you who you are, kind of. And, you know, for me, it was different. I wasn't a guy like RC or Coop that won a lot whenever they were, you know, amateurs. So for me, like, just making it to a factory team was like such a big deal to me. You know, like when I finally signed with Star, I was like, dude, I feel like I've made it.
That's it.
You know, where them, it's like, it was different. You know, like they'd been on factory equipment, factory teams for so long that wasn't the pinnacle. The pinnacle was winning, you know? And for me, I was like, dude, if I could win, that's cool. But I've already made it on a factory team. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of a different way of being, I guess, how you see yourself and where you were when you were younger and the things that have happened and what you've accomplished. But it's, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Nathan Ramsey told me the funniest story is he didn't appreciate it at the time either. And he said that one time he was on the line, he was on, you know, factory Honda at the time, and he took his cool factory Honda jacket off that he had at the time and just flung it. And he goes, dude, what was I thinking? I was a spoiled brat thinking that these just are, you know, they don't cost money. That he goes, to have that jacket back in my collection now, like just you know, at the moment, he goes, what am I thinking? Just flinging this jacket off and never even caring about what happens to it. And so everybody has that perspective. I mean, that's human nature, unfortunately, is we don't get to do it until we have to come back and look at it as it comes back to us.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, that's human nature and the way it works, but it is cool now. I mean, obviously I'm getting a little bit older, and, you know, you see things like you were just saying, been in this racing Supercross for 10 years now. So I can go back and look at stuff, and, you know, you analyze and you think about different things. You're like, man, this is kind of funny, you know, looking back on it now, and you realize it is okay, because obviously it is. And everything happens for a reason, and things were set up the way they were supposed to. And no matter how much you try and control it, you just can't sometimes, you know? So that's the kind of the beauty of it, though, also.
I was just talking to Shane McElrath, Moody McElrath, and I was talking to him about the window for success from moving up from 250s to 450s. It's more like a sliver. It's not even a window. I mean, you went from a 250 title to 450 Rookie of the Year to, you know, jumping around these last couple of years. You've only been on a 450 for 4 years, but I mean that small little time frame you have to make an impact to secure those next few, you know, rides and years on a 450. It's not even fair. I mean, not that life's fair. Motocross, Supercross is fair. But can you elaborate on that? You know, basically going from those two highs to the last 2 years.
Yeah, man, it's, I mean, Shane would know a lot about what it's like too. Yeah. It's tough, you know, like when you move up to the 450 class, that's where you always want to go. You want to be at the pinnacle no matter what. Like when you first turn pro, and even for me, like I said, like getting the ride was like one thing where I was like, man, this is so cool, but how cool would it be to be in the 450 class and, you know, have a factory ride and be winning races there, you know, like at the top of the top. And that's what you always strive to try and do. And, man, for me, like I moved up in 23. This is, you know, my third year, and first year even being signed up to race outdoors on a 450. And it's hard because I got my start kind of late, like even my rookie year in Supercross, I was older than a lot of these rookies
Sure,
coming in now.
Good point.
Then you have, 3 or 4 years of being injured and not finishing seasons. People don't really even know you're there because you're not at the races. And then all of a sudden it starts to click and you get it figured out and you look up and you're 25, 26. And I'm like, man, like a lot of guys are, like Dungy RV, they were already towards the end of their careers, like about to retire, and I haven't even raced a 450 race yet. So it's just different, like everyone's path is a little bit different, and that's just the way mine was meant to go. And luckily, I was able to get a 250 title before I moved up. That was awesome. And it's tough though, whenever you get an opportunity like I did with Honda. That was an amazing opportunity. I loved being there. Everything about it, it was unbelievable. But that it's short-lived at the same time. Like I wasn't going to be there long-term. That was never really the idea. So you want to enjoy it, but it's tough because you're just like, man, I know I'm going to be off this bike and this thing is so sick.
Yeah.
I want to continue to race it and to be here and to learn and to, to try and get comfortable. And that was the big thing, was just trying to get comfy and understand what's going on. And as soon as you do that, you got to swap and go to something else. And then, I was on a Cowie for a little bit, then next opportunity comes knocking, and that's beta, and you're there for a year or 6 months, 8 months. And then that 10 years over, then you're trying to find something else. And it's hard, like Shane he bounced around a little bit, so he kind of understands it a little bit. And it's tough. Like you just want to find a home and get comfy somewhere, try and do the best you can. And, it's tough being an athlete. It's hard, like all you're trying to do is rely on your strengths and be confident and all this kind of stuff. And bouncing around and all the stuff, it's tough. And like you said, it's not fair, but life's not fair. It's just the way that it is and the cards you're dealt, and got to make the best of it. And that's all I'm trying to do. So it's been a fun deal though.
If you look at the factory riders, the guy that have won championships in the last couple of years, and how they struggled on bikes that they stayed on year after year. And then let's just take, Chase Sexton and Cooper Webb and put them in your career. What could they do moving every 6 months into several different brands? And it's not fair because you are literally unpacking your OGO bag in a new rig. You've got a new team, new bike, new setups, new everything. And you are just basically, it's like jumping into the ocean and just trying to tread water when everybody else is on a fucking jet ski. You're like, dude, slow down. Just give me a second to catch my breath and to get acclimated to this new situation. But that's not how it works. And so you're literally jumping onto a treadmill that's already on 10 out of 10, and you're trying to get your legs up to speed.
Yeah, honestly, that's what it feels like a lot of times. For me, dude, just let me get a little planted here. Let me get settled, and then we'll be all right. But that's, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. It's wide open, and you got to do what you got to do with what you have. And obviously, the guys that are winning races and the guys that are in that position, they're there for a reason. We've all had opportunities, and you make the best of what you can. And obviously, I just was a little bit more of a late bloomer, and it took me a little longer to get going. If I would have won a title, my third year in the 250 class, obviously it would probably look a little bit different, but I didn't. So, it's just one of those things, it is tough, but at the end of the day, I'm just lucky to still be in the spot that I'm at and trying to make the best with what I have, and to just to try and do better. I think that's what we're all trying to do. And those guys' level that they're at is insane, man. Like guys that are winning 450 titles and races and stuff like that. It's such a high level now. It's pretty crazy. And not to say that I can't get there or wasn't there at some point or something, but it is hard. Like when you're injured and your career path goes a little different way than you think, and you're playing catch up and you're kind of off the back foot constantly. So, that's where I'm at. But like I said, it is what it is. I'm still just blessed to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm happy to be racing still. And if I can continue to do this a few more years, I'm going to be happy.
Well, after all these years of doing this, our show's coming from 25 years of doing this, and I don't pull for racers. I pull for people, and you're one of those ones that, you've been humble the last couple of years, but you've always persevered, and you're the same person, from the highs of your 250 career. That's not easy, and you've stayed true to your character. You're still the kid I met coming up from Muskogee, Oklahoma, and I know that, that's maybe some solace at some point. Maybe that's not so much, but for me, that's a win. You being the character that you are, the representative of the sport that everybody knows that you are. You're so well spoken. You've given so much to the sport. All of the injuries you've overcome to get your championships and move on. That's a win, Colt. I know that that's maybe not what you want every single day, but that's a good place to start, being appreciative of that you've already won a lot.
Yeah, dude, like you said, we all want to win. We all do this because we strive to be the best. And unfortunately, there's only one guy that's the best normally. Like everyone else has to fall in line sometimes, and there's only one guy that can win the races. And sure, we try our ass off every single time we're out there, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And definitely not try and lack in any effort department or anything like that. But I watched the Guy Cooper story a lot when I was little. He was an idol of mine, obviously fellow Oklahoma boy, an absolute legend. I mean, he was airtime. He was sick as hell. But the biggest thing, like after watching that documentary, he was like, man, I don't care how many trophies I've won or things that have happened in my career. I want people to recognize me for who I was off the track. I'll stay late, sign every autograph I can, be humble, be nice, whether you win or lose. And so I kind of had this like little bit of mentality, even when I was little, like that was cool. Like I looked up to this guy and that he said that was like the most important thing. So I was like, well, I need to try and make that the most important thing too, that's just the way I kind of looked at it. And obviously my parents raised me well, and just trying to give back if I can, speak about the sport that I love in the highest capacity as possible, and let people know it's the coolest thing in the world, because I genuinely think it is. And I'm just lucky to be able to do it, honestly. Like a lot of guys tried this and it hasn't worked, or, your career gets flopped upside down, and you see it all the time with things that have happened. So yeah, man, just lucky, blessed to be doing what I'm doing. And I love what I do and try not to take anything for granted.
We've a fan of all sports. And to me, the sport on the field is one thing, or on the track is one thing, but it's always about, the person. It's the person under the helmet. It's the football player under, it's never, to me, the overall picture is always about the person. And when you see people that, the greatest of all times have slumps or have bad times or whatever, fighting those demons and how they get back to the top, or how they deal with that and stay, coherent to the present. That is the biggest question to me. So how do you fight the demons? How do you, stay in the present, with all that you've been through, to say, hey, I'm on a great team. I'm in a position right now where I want to be. The beta stuff didn't work out, or, whatever didn't work out the last 3 years, but I'm in it. I mean, how do you fight those demons? Long question.
Yeah. I mean, it's, honestly, it is tough. It's a constant battle. And I think that's the most overlooked thing about our sport, really. And people that are in it and that have gone and had these kind of things that have happened to them understand it. But when you haven't, you're just like, dude, I don't know. You just get back up and you go, or like, it's not that hard, but it is. And it's like really demoralizing, every time you get injured and you think you have it figured out, then bam, like something happens and you're just like, dude, Jesus Christ. Like, can I get a break like anywhere, just something help me out. Then you're trying to search for all these answers, and sometimes there is none, there really isn't. You just have to kind of put your faith in something. And, for me, it's, putting your faith in God, hoping that it all works out, and it will. And it's just hard though sometimes, because you look up and you're like, dude, how in the hell is this even possible? Like, how is this continuously happening? And it makes it really, really hard, and it gets taxing. It gets tough. That's why a lot of people hang up the boots. And, like I'm really close with Will Hahn, and that's kind of where he was at the end of his career. He was just like, man, I'm just tired of getting hurt. I'm tired of being off the back foot, trying to come back from these injuries where all these other guys have been training, riding, getting better. And I'm sitting on the couch trying to heal something else, getting even further behind. And it kind of wears on you eventually, but the love and the passion you have for it is why you keep doing it. That's why I show up every day, is because I genuinely do love riding. I love racing. I love training. Like, I love this side of the sport. I've been doing it for so long now that I wouldn't know anything else. But then the other side of it is also, you have to realize, the sun will set at night, then it'll rise in the morning, and everything will be all right. As tough as it seems, like you have the worst motos in the world, or whatever happens, and you're so down in the dumps, you're like, man, life's over. This sucks. I blew it. I rode like shit, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's all right. All you got to do is try and put your best foot forward, give the most effort you can when you can give it. And then after that, you look back and you say, all right, I can wipe my hands clean of this. I'm okay with this. There is another life beyond racing. And that's hard, as a guy that's, for me, I struggle with it even still to this day. I struggle with trying to be like, hey, there is other things and there's something else, because this is all you've done, So when it's all you've done, you don't think there's anything else, and you don't want to, because then you feel like that's taking away from the now. But it's not in a lot of ways. But that's something that I've tried to learn and try and be better with the past few years. Just getting older too helps, I'd like to think I'm a little wiser, maybe not, but I think perspective is huge, and, realizing that there is other things and a life beyond racing and other things to do when we hang the boots up. And it's hard to think about that, but it certainly is the way it is.
I've known Ricky since he was a kid coming up, and I told him this, and I tell everybody this, is if your legacy when you leave this world is whatever you did on a bike, that's all you've left, then you fucked it up. That is not a life well lived. Your legacy is so much more than anything you do on a bike, and it's such a snapshot in your career. Your racing career is going to be such a snapshot, and your perspective is it takes people years, decades to get to where you already are perspective wise, and you're so ahead of the game there. But that's the thing that everybody realizes when they hang up the boots and nobody's cheering your name anymore. When it comes down to it, it's who you are. It's your character, and that's what's going to be your lasting legacy, way beyond what you do on a dirt bike.
Yeah, 100%. You don't realize that for a while. You know what I mean? Because you in some ways you can't. Because to be great, anybody that's a great athlete more than likely has some sort of an ego. Like to some extent.
Sure.
And the egos are great. Because they help you be who you are. Like they help you be brash and be that guy that's cocky and to have that mentality to go win at all costs type scenario. But at the end of the day, that ego, whenever you take the helmet off, has to be a little more even keel, because we're all just people. At the end of the day, we're all riding dirt bikes. We're blessed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sport, we could be just working a factory, hard hat on, working at ConocoPhillips in Oklahoma, doing nothing, So it's like perspective is huge. We're lucky to get to do it. And this is going to be so short lived that one day I'm going to be just walking around, normal guy, normal job, whatever the case may be. And no one's going to remember any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so short lived, and I see it all the time. Like even with people like Ricky and RV, especially, like we see RV at Supercross races with his kid doing the KTM challenge, and people aren't just rushing up to him to get his autograph. And I'm like, dude, at one point, this was the baddest dude on two wheels by far. Like there was no one even close in his era. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now he's just a guy at the races, and that's so crazy to me, but I'm like, that's just the way that it is, like once you're in the spotlight, you're in it. And once you're out, you're out. And, that's sport, and that's the world we live in.
And you want to talk about perspective. That dude did not smile for 4 years. How many championships did he win? And he was miserable. I mean, he did not like the grind. He did not like all that stuff, the sacrifices. And I'm glad he got out where he still had his mental health. But that's another perspective thing. I mean, winning all that stuff. I mean, I remember he won that million or whatever in Vegas, and he didn't even smile for that picture. I'm like, RV, can you crack one for us, bud? I mean, but
literally. That's half the battle though. Like that was his, in a way, the ego of being like, you know what, I'm here to win. I'm here to win only. I don't care whether I like it or not. I'm good at this, and I'm going to go do the best that I can. As soon as I can get out, I'm going to get out.
I'm out.
And that's what he did. Like I've seen so many podcasts where he's like, dude, I wish I would have enjoyed it more and had more fun and done all this stuff. But hindsight's 2020. Like he did win everything that he signed up to race. He won it. So, I mean, if he had that perspective, would he have won everything? Who knows? But that's like some serious bench race talk. But that's just the way that it is. It's crazy.
Hey, now that you have, they've changed the rules enough times. What is, talking to Shane, I've talked to, Savachi, I've talked to all these people. What is the best rule, Colt, about the 250s and making people move up and not move up? And where do we make mistakes along the way in the sport, forcing people up out of the 250s?
Yeah, that one is so tough to me because I understand the reasons behind it, but it's also, it's just hard, dude, because every situation seems like it's different, and you could have a different answer for every single guy. Like a dude like Joey and Shane, they came so close to winning titles multiple times, and didn't quite get it, but still collect enough points. All right, you got to get out.
Yep.
And you got to move up. And then me, like I win a title and try to defend, and I get hurt in the heat race of the very first race. I'm out, I'm done. I'm out. Then you have people like Will Hahn and, Justin Bogle, like Justin won his third year in and gets a year to defend. Like, could he have benefited from another year or two of the 250 class? More than likely. Yeah. Like he probably could have. I mean, Will didn't even get to defend, like he had to move up the very next year. So it's like, it's getting better for sure, but I really don't know what the answer is. Cause then you see the anomalies, that come through like Cole Davies, where he was a title threat this year, and he's a rookie. Yeah. So it's like, it's crazy. Like, can you say that he could be in the class 6 years if he wants? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's really hard. And I feel like it could be so tailored to each individual case and have a different answer, but it's tough to do that across the board and to make it like, hey, this is just the way that it is. So I don't really know, dude. I don't know what the answer is. It's such a hard deal with the 250 class, but I think, in my opinion, if guys have an opportunity like me right now, if I was a free agent at the end of this year, and I just said, hey, I'm going to call all the teams that I can. I did whatever I did in the 450 class. What are my options? You know, and I call all these people, and Mitch Payton says, or Star, or whoever says, hey, I'll pay you $200,000 to come race the 250 for me.
Yeah.
And then I look at the 450 options and I'm like, man, like I'm racing for $80,000 right now. That's kind of, I mean, it might be better to go do that, you know? Yeah. So it's like, it's so tough because if I could do that, I certainly would at least maybe have an option. Maybe I wouldn't, you know, but we don't have that luxury to do that. And that's something that's hard, but yeah, it's just the way that it is. I feel like it's so tailored to the individual person, but it's tough, man.
Hey, when Weeds told me that they were going to have a rider, I actually thought about you the other day. That's why I called you to do this interview, because we haven't caught up in a while. But I thought about you the other day when I saw Pat McAfee interviewing Tom Cruise, and I thought Colt Nichols is the only rider in the history of our sport who has been interviewed by the same guy that interviewed him and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, honestly, it was nuts. Even a few weeks after I was there, they had LeBron James sitting in the same seat that I was sitting in, and it was just mind blowing to me because I'm like, dude, I was literally at the Thunderdome. I was on the set meeting all the guys. Like that still to me is kind of surreal, and I can't believe I was even in that position to do that. But that was one of the coolest things I've got to do. It's such a blessing to get to meet all those guys and to be in that position to talk highly about our sport. Yeah. And for me to be the one to present it at a bigger audience like that was the coolest thing.
Did LeBron knock anything over?
I can't say that he did. I'm the only idiot that went up there and knocked something over the first minute of being on set. I'm like, damn it, I just blew it. But dude, in a way, it was kind of awesome. It kind of just broke the ice a little bit. And I'm like, all right, I kind of needed that in a way.
It really was
green, but I needed it.
It was like a slap in the face. His arms are literally 3 feet longer than yours, and he didn't knock anything over. I mean, like
I know, unbelievable. Don't know how the hell I did that.
Hey, but that was awesome. And I swear to you, I said to Weege, I said, and he didn't tell me who it was. I said it better be Colt or AC. Those were my only two choices who I wanted to represent my sport on the Pat McAfee show. I literally said that to him. So I'm glad that you are so well regarded that they basically pulled you off the bench, threw you in and said, hey, represent, 50 years of this sport.
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea what was going to happen there at all. Like I didn't even know that it was a possibility. I guess Supercross had been reaching out to Pat for a while, just trying to see if they could get somebody on the show, period.
Yeah.
And, because obviously we were going to Indy, that's where he's at, like all this stuff. And I got a text on Thursday from Dustin Pipes, team manager here, and he was like, hey, if there's a chance that you could get on Pat McAfee, would you want to go? And I'm like, bro, do anything you can to get me on that show. I would die to be on that show, please God, because I was watching it pretty religiously before I was on the show anyway.
Oh, it's awesome.
I was just a fan, period. I was like, dude, I love this guy. I think he's the greatest thing ever right now. So I was like, dude, try everything you can. And this was Thursday night. And then this was Wednesday night. Sorry. So Thursday night, I got a text at like 9 p.m. from Dustin. Was like, hey, dude, you're on tomorrow at 2:00. And I'm like, no fucking way. I could not believe it. And I flew into Indy at like noon. And I was supposed to be on at 2:00. My flight gets delayed. And I was stressing bad. I'm like, dude, no way am I going to miss this right now. So I like literally as soon as I landed, didn't even pick up the rental car, didn't do anything, went directly to the Thunderdome as quick as I possibly could, showed up, dropped my backpack. They pretty much mic'd me up. And then I went on like 5 minutes later. Like it was so quick. I had no time to even really get like nervous, even though I really was. But dude, it was such a cool experience. Those guys were awesome. As soon as the camera shut off, they were the same people, same dudes.
Yeah.
Just pumped to talk about sports. They're all just like good people. So it was honestly the experience of a lifetime. I was so glad that I got the opportunity to do it. I don't know why they chose me to do it. So blessed that they did. And it was, it was so much fun to get to talk about motocross and supercross.
Yeah.
Where we're at as a sport, and just to try to explain to these guys how awesome I think it is, and just how cool I think the sport is, dude. It's in a good spot right now, and I think more people need to see it. So that was really cool.
God, I thought you had like 3 days to prepare. You did so good. I'm like, you've nailed it. I'm like, I had no idea that was so short lived. Your notice.
No, I mean, literally, I had no notice at all. And I didn't know even I thought it would be more of a rundown on kind of what's going on. And I'd get to meet everybody before and like, hey, we're going to talk about this, that, whatever, nothing. I mean, it was literally like I went straight there. Then Sean Brennan, and they actually had AC there too, as a backup, just in case my flight got fully delayed and I couldn't make it. So he was there as backup.
Dude, you bumped AC. I love it.
Oh yeah, I think he was pretty pissed that he didn't get to go on. I'm sure he would have. I would have been pissed too if I was in his situation. But Sean Brennan was kind of just telling me like, hey, here's a few little things we kind of want you to mention if you can. And AC was kind of trying to give me a few pointers as well. I'm like, hey, I think you should talk about this, that, or whatever. And that was cool, to have them there and kind of help, like, hey, this would be a good idea to talk about these things. But like I said, there wasn't really any time to really prepare or to rehearse anything. I pretty much was going off the cuff completely. Just like, all right, let's just see where this goes. And it turned out way better than I thought it would, honestly. And they made it so easy on me, though. Like, they were such, like I said, cool guys. The conversation was easy to flow through. And it's tough, though, to explain it to someone who's not in sport.
True. Or
ever been around Supercross, to try and get the gist of what you're trying to say and to make it sound as cool as possible.
Right.
So for me, that was just my goal. Like, all right, I just want to make this sound really, really cool. And I want to try and make the sport look good. Not like it's, like we're riding lawnmowers in the backyard type scenario.
Yeah.
So, I hope I did a good job. I hope I represented the sport well. And like I said, I'd love to do it. And any opportunity I can to do something like that, I want to do it. Because like I said, I think this is the coolest thing in the world. So.
You killed it for us. I had no idea you blocked past AC. That makes, like, all those times you had to go to the LCQ and he went straight to from the heat. I just love it. Like, guess what? That was my day.
Yeah, I had no idea that was going to happen. They told me this after the fact. Because I didn't know, like, I pulled up, obviously, and he's there, and I was like, yo, what's up? Like, I didn't know. And they were like, oh, yeah, we brought AC just in case your flight got delayed and you couldn't make it. And I was like, ooh, he's probably not pumped on that my flight actually made it. But like I said, I was so stoked that I got to do it. That was a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
He's probably texting your Uber driver, get lost, delay.
Go somewhere else.
Hey, you're a brave dude for letting a stranger ride your dirt bike. It's almost like handing your chick over. That's pretty ballsy.
Hey, that was the backup bike, and I said, hopefully we don't have to use this damn thing. But I was nervous, dude. I didn't know how that was going to work out, but he hopped on the TTR first, and your first immediate thought is whiskey throttle. Anytime a newbie kind of gets on a bike, I'm like, dude, he's going to get loose as hell. There's concrete everywhere. It's not going to be good. And as soon as he took off on the TTR, I'm like, oh, okay, he's good. Like, he at least knows how to use the clutch a little bit. He doesn't seem super foreign to him, so I think he'll be all right. And luckily, he killed it. He was completely good. So that made me feel a little better about it for sure.
Dude, you would have been like South Park. Instead of you killed Kenny, you killed Pat McAfee.
Yeah, that's what I was so nervous about. I was like, bro, I don't want this guy to touch the front on my bike.
This will be national news. For
luckily, he was good.
Yeah, if he went down, that would have been on CNN, Fox. It would have been on Good Morning America. It would have been everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that would have covered some serious. I mean, who knows? That would have blown up even bigger than it already did. But I was just like, man, thank God he didn't crash or do anything crazy. He handled it like a pro, and that was really, really cool.
What other sports did you talk to him about? Like, what? I mean, I know that. Like, what do you follow? Basketball, or what else do you follow?
Yeah. I mean, basketball, football. I kind of follow all sports really. Okay. Other than I'm not, I guess, huge baseball and hockey. I'll watch like the playoffs and stuff when I come around. But I follow, the NBA and NFL regular season, pretty religiously. And I had to mention my Thunder being from Oklahoma. So we talked about basketball a little bit.
You're pumped right now.
That was cool.
That's awesome. You're pumped right now.
I'm very happy.
Who's your NFL team?
God, it just pains me to say it when everyone asks, but the first game I ever went to was a Cowboys game. So obviously it was closest for me. So I'm a Cowboys fan by heart. Closest stadium to me. It's my favorite stadium to race at, the whole nine. So it's painful being a Cowboys fan, but here we are.
You and I are now arch rivals for the rest of our lives. I'm a Washington fan. I'm a Washington fan. So okay. I give Blair so much shit, and I love watching Jerry Jones put you guys through 20 years of torture. He is the worst owner ever, other than Daniel Snyder, and we got rid of ours.
Hey, it honestly is absolute torture. Like, I hate being a Cowboys fan, but I am, dude. I don't know why. That big star just lured me in when I was little, and I've liked him ever since. But, dude, I like pretty much our division. I like every team there. Like, dude, I love Jalen Hurts. He's at OU. Yeah. I love that guy. Like, I love McDaniels for McDaniel. Whatever for Washington. I think he's a complete stud. Like, I like all the teams in our division, really. I don't really like many others, but I'm like, I like all of our teams. So it's kind of tough for me, but I'm a Cowboys fan at heart.
I just always text Blair all in. Every time the Cowboys fuck stuff up, I'm just like all in. Remember when Jerry's just like,
it's terrible.
It's like all in, and you all sign like a punter for a 3-year contract. All in, baby, all in.
It's terrible. Hey, our wide receiver room's looking good.
Hey,
that's a plus, but I don't know if that's going to help us.
Hey, this is what happens when nepotism is in the world. When all his kids have jobs at the upper echelon of the Cowboys, this is what happens. That is not a good recipe for success. Is when your kids are your sounding board, because they're never going to give you honest opinions.
Well, it makes it hard. Like, dude, I watched that Lakers documentary where same thing, talking about Dr. Buss and his whole family being involved with the Lakers organization and stuff like that. It's hard, dude, because it can get mucky pretty quick. Because, like you said, you're probably not going to get your real opinion or your like real sound off because they're your kids. So I feel like it would make it tough, man. I feel like it does make it a little bit tough. And that's, I think, the one like big chink in the armor that Jerry has with Dallas. I'm just like, man, there's just too many cooks in the kitchen that are all related. It kind of makes it a little tough here, but that's all right.
Hey, the East. The NFC East is no joke this year. The Giants drafted some guys. We've got to put up with Russell Wilson again. That dude never goes away. And then of course the Philadelphia Eagles. The tush push is back. I mean, Jaden Daniels from Washington for me is just a reprieve. We were one game away from the Super Bowl after winning 3 games. I mean, the biggest turnaround ever. So the NFC East is no joke. It's not going to be an easy schedule for any of us there. We have to play all those guys twice.
Oh, I know. Yeah, not at all. Which makes me excited because I like when that division is good. Like it makes it entertaining for me. It makes it fun. Like for everybody, it makes it fun. And to see, I still call them the Redskins because I do too. Commanders, that pisses me off. But I don't like that. But I just think, dude, yeah, he's a stud. That quarterback that you guys have is unbelievable. Yeah. And to take that team where they were to where they are now is honestly impressive. I thought you guys were going to go to the Super Bowl. I was actually rooting for them. So I'm like, I'd like to see this. I think that'd be cool. But it'll be entertaining to say the least. It'll be fun to watch.
So what's up with your Thunder? What's going to happen?
Dude, I'm trying not to be that guy. I don't want to sound too cocky and be like they're gonna win it because you just never know, dude. You just never know. But I did think though, out of all the teams, the Nuggets would have been the hardest for us to get past.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice being up 3-1, right? Like that's amazing. Yeah. But dude, Anthony Edwards is. I think he's the best player. Aside from SGA, I think he is the next best guard, the next best, thing for the NBA. He's unbelievable. And they're a good team. So for us to get past them will be awesome. And then I don't know, dude, I'm not sleeping on the Pacers either. I didn't think that they were like that caliber of team, but they keep surprising me over and over again. So if they can get through and pass the Knicks and we face them in the finals, we'll see. But I hope that we can go all the way. I really do. It's a young team. It'd be like the youngest team ever, I think, to win. But if they do, I would be genuinely so excited. We hadn't been to the finals since 2012. So for us, even to go to the finals would be huge. And to win it though would be, that'd be awesome.
Hey, draft night for me. I love NFL draft night. I just love the whole week build up to it, all that stuff. How about the NBA where it's just a lottery? That is the most unfair thing ever where the worst team doesn't get the number 1 pick. I don't like that.
Well, it's not, you cannot tell me that that's by chance that the Dallas Mavericks got the number 1. There's no way in hell. Like they trade away their franchise player. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember what the statistics were before. I think it was literally like a 1.6%, or it was something very, very slim.
Cuban's a piece of shit.
Get the number 1 pick. And then they get it. And I'm like, you are shitting me. Yeah. There's no way that was by chance. There's no way.
Cuban literally sold his soul to the devil somehow. I have no idea how he did it, but he sold his soul to the devil to make that work.
Yeah. Cause Cooper Flagg is, I think, an absolute stud. Like one of the best guys we've seen coming out of the draft in a while, and I think he'll do really, really good in the NBA. So the fact that they got him, I'm like, man, that is nuts. Like, I cannot believe that.
And you don't follow golf at all? I guess not. We've never talked golf?
No, I'll follow some golf. I was just watching that tournament, actually. What was the tournament that was just playing 2 days ago?
Not Memorial's coming up. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
I was watching Scheffler. He was back. I think he was in 7th. He was down. I think he was like -7 or something. And the guy ended up winning. He was -16. He was having a hell of a play. But I love golf. Like I love going to play it. I love watching it. I'm terrible, but I do enjoy it, dude. I love watching golf. I think it's fun too to watch.
Ricky Fowler was in 3rd place.
He was in 3rd for a while. Yeah, for a while.
Dang, that's Jeremy, Red Bull. Jeremy and I, and I was in a fantasy golf league with Jordan Smith and Zacho and a bunch of guys. I love playing golf. I love watching golf. But when I was asking about those mental questions, you think about guys, Thomas and all these guys that have just thrown away their games and have fought their way back. Dude, this mental side of sport is so fascinating to me. These guys, top of the world, and all of a sudden they're outside the top, 200 golfers, and they find their way back. The mental strength of all athletes is just amazing to me, including you. That's why it's such an important part to bring up.
Yeah, and like you said, it's really, really overlooked in what we do, because you're looked at as like almost weak if you struggle with that, or if you need help with that, or if you get help.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's just the way that it is, but you look at golfers, every single one of those dudes have a mental coach or, some sort of mental training or something. And it's like, dude, that's just as important, if not more important in our sport. We're literally riding motorcycles, like we're not just hitting the ball with a stick,
Sure.
So it's like, it's crazy because every shot is a new shot, and that's the way golfers have to approach it. And you have to be so mentally on your game. And dude, we are the exact same. And, I've been working with a mental coach now for a little bit. I worked with her for the first time in 2019 and
Cool.
through 2020, then my 2021 year when I won my title, then stopped working with her for a few years, and now I've been working with her again. Started working with her the past few rounds of Supercross.
That's awesome.
Trying to just move forward. So it's been cool, and it's a weird thing in our sport that I guess it's not more common. I would think, especially when you look at the game of golf, but it is it's so overlooked, dude. Because if you don't have like a good foundation of I guess your mental capacity and the way you see yourself and all of this stuff, it's hard, dude. When you keep getting knocked down and keep trying to get up, if you don't have a good foundation, it's just like training. Like if you don't have this big base of training in, it's going to be hard for you to go do these motos.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with the mental side, but it's really, really overlooked because there's so many guys that are good at what we do. I mean, there's so many guys, you go to the practice track and you watch them and you're like, how does that guy not win every race, every weekend?
Yeah.
And you go to the race and you don't really see him much. And it's like, well,
why not?
Dude, what?
Yeah.
What is the difference? Like, why is this guy so much better than that guy? But on Tuesday, they're the same.
Yeah.
Like they literally do the same stuff. So it's crazy the way it works, man. I think it's really, really overlooked and something that I've tried to dive a little deeper into now that I'm kind of getting a little bit older and towards the end of my career and just trying to understand it a little bit more, I guess, and why you are the way you are, but it's definitely overlooked, I think.
Well, the guys to either side of you on the gate, that's your competition. So if you're mentally sound when you get there, that's one less. But if you're not, then you're fighting yourself. You're a competitor to yourself, and that's why if that's not right, there's no way to fake it. You can't once that gate drops, you can't fake it.
There's no way to fake it, and that's the hard part. You can't fake that. you either have that or you don't, as far as being mentally sound and being okay and all this stuff, and everyone talks about it all the time. You hear it year after year, talking about how mentally strong Cooper Webb is, and how he has everyone beat before they ever even get there. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
What is that? Like what does that look like, and how does he have that and no one else does?
Yeah.
It's like just one of those things where if you can try and tap into that and actually have some more understanding of it, you could. For me, what I want to do is, hopefully help somebody else. Like now that I'm getting a little bit older and towards the end of my career, like I want to help that kid that's trying to get over that hump a little bit, or whatever that case may be. So it is, it's a really, really tough. It's hard. Like you said, you're in competition with yourself if you're not in that zone, and it's hard to get there for some guys. So it's just, it's cool to try to understand it a little bit more.
And you mentioned Will Hahn, and I can easily see you in that role in the future too. You have all the assets for that as well. But to hear it from somebody who's been there means so much more than a therapist or somebody you're working with. That just that insight from somebody who's been in that grind, that knows literally what you're dealing with. That kind of knowledge and passing it on is invaluable.
Yeah, and I think that's why so many teams now are trying to look at that. Like that's why Star was trying so hard to get Will back. I think for a while. I mean, this is outside looking in. Don't quote me on this, but I I just would think that outside perspective has something to do with it. It's huge, dude. If you have been there, done that, you can understand what the rider is going through. I mean, that's why the old trainers are successful. You know, even Swanee being at Star for years, like he raced, you know, so he gets it. Like he knows what these kids are going through and the training side of it, what you need and what it's like to travel and, you know, get back home and your shot and, you know, just kind of how to move forward with that and how to have some structure. That's why all these kids are so successful coming out of that program. They have the right pieces in place and the structure is really good. And to have somebody like Will on your side dude, he's so invaluable. Like now that he's gone and he's not in California, he doesn't live 10 minutes down the road from him anymore. It sucks. Like you realize how much he does, and just even having his presence there, he carries a lot of weight, and he's damn good at his job. He's someone that is really, really good to have around. And that experience, like you said, is kind of invaluable for a lot of people.
He's a great human being.
He is, man. He's one of the best guys I've ever met. He's a good friend. If I ever needed anything, he'd be there. No questions asked. He's just, he's one of those guys that if you meet him and you get close with him and you understand who he is as a person, they don't make him like him anymore for sure. He's one of the good ones. You
can't beat the heartland of America people. Those, middle of the country. That is some good folks.
That's what I like to think, man. Oklahoma born. He's Kansas. Like I mean, I just think that we're just, we're built a little different over there in the middle of America. So I even miss it back home, but I think that's why we got along so well too. Like, he just understood it, like we're both from the same area. He gets it, kind of small town living, growing up and trying to get this thing figured out. And nobody would have really thought of us, even, throw Justin Bogle in that mix too, that we would be Supercross champions. Even, someone like Trey Kennard, being in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, to come out and race Supercross and be on teams and win championships is pretty damn cool. And that gives you a lot of perspective because you don't have that when you're younger, So for us, that's where it was. It was like, man, this is the coolest thing in the world. And we accomplished stuff that maybe ourselves didn't even think that we could get to one day, and we did it. So yeah, hopefully still more to go. But like I said, I like to think that we're raised all right, at least in Middle America.
The only bad part about Middle America, the only thing I can possibly think of is Ronnie Mack. That was a disaster to come out and get.
Oh, that poor guy.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, that he can shame an entire state. I mean, he literally is just a disaster from the second he wakes up in the day. And we know he's drunk right now. We don't know where he is. We know he's drunk, but man, I'm so sorry that he would break into y'all's practice tracks and just tear shit up and cops and
PBRs just everywhere, shit all over the place. I'm like, this guy.
I mean, unbelievable. I hated that Trey Kennard had to win championships with that dumbass in his neighborhood, breaking in, stealing shit, and doing his goofy jumping and all that. I mean, I hate that about it. But everything else from Oklahoma was pretty cool.
I would have to agree, man. Other than that, we're pretty solid. Ronnie, he's a character. That's damn sure.
All right, we'll give you the Dunlop 5 questions and get you out of here. All right, here we go. Dunlop, the best tires in the business. Make sure you check them out on all their socials at Ride Dunlop, and the entire new Geomax line for all types of dirt developed with the input of AMA pro racers like Colt Nichols. Here we go. All right, what was your first car back in Muskogee, Oklahoma?
First car, I had a Ford van that I paid for $1,500.
Straight piece of shit. Just a straight moto van.
It was terrible. Yeah. It was terrible, but I loved it. It was actually the best car I've ever owned. I loved it.
All right. Do you talk to guys on the starting line? Do you ever start a conversation with anybody?
I do, and it's awkward as hell. Nobody wants to talk. They're acting super serious. I'm like, guys, relax. Like, we're about to go race, and we're going to do the same damn thing again next weekend. It's all right. We can talk. But there's a lot of guys that don't do it. But, yeah, I like to break the ice a little bit. Me and AP are like the only ones up there that are talking.
That's funny. Good. That's good. All right, so this is probably going to be Guy Cooper. Do you remember the first autograph you remember getting as a kid?
Honestly, yes, it was Guy Cooper and Robbie Raynard. I remember both of those very vividly. The first time I got Robbie's autograph and the first time I got Guy's, I was just blown away. I was like, this is unbelievable. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
I was talking to somebody the other day about careers and who we all had these bench racing things. And I always bring up Robbie, and everybody's like, dude, that's from so long ago. I said, you don't understand what a big deal he was. He was the Fox guy. Just imagine RC and James and all these guys. I said, Robbie was the guy until he got hurt. And so I always have his back in bench racing about what could have been.
I mean, I think he's probably, I think if you were to put a list, he's got to be top 3 of all time of like guys that were the guy, especially coming out. I mean, I think he still holds the record for the youngest guy to win an outdoor. I mean, he was 16 years old and I think 4 months or something, and wins Steel City in 93, and like just unbelievable. Like, the dude had so much skill, and even as he was training me as later years, he would ride, and like even the year that Trey won his outdoor title, he would go kill everybody on the weekends. At Washougal, he goes 1-1. The week before Washougal, we were riding at his house, and Robbie absolutely worked him, worked him. And then in between motos was just having a Red Bull and a Snickers, and just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And then went out there and worked Trey Kennard. And then he goes on the weekend and goes 1-1. And I'm like, dude, how in the hell? Like, just unbelievable. That dude was probably the greatest guy I ever saw ride a dirt bike, especially at a young age. Like, you get so influenced by people you see when you're little. And I just thought he had the coolest style. He stood up everywhere. He was over the front of the bike. I just thought he looked so cool.
He is. Hey, next time I have this conversation, I'm going to FaceTime you, because that was the best, most convincing Robbie story ever, that he was the shit. I mean, that was awesome. The Red Bull and Snickers, and still working people.
Yeah, and Trey was pissed. He was like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, that's just Rob, dude. I don't know, dude. It was unbelievable.
All right, last question of the night. How do you want to be remembered, Colt 45 Nichols?
Kind of touching a little bit on what we talked about earlier. I just want to be remembered as a guy that, was took the time, was humble in victory and defeat, and genuinely had a good time. I try to enjoy life and look at it with glass half full, and try to do the best I can with what I have that's in front of me, and race as long as I can and as good as I can. And when I'm done and I hang the boots up, I just want to be known as a good person, a good guy, a good ambassador for the sport, good ambassador to the young kids and guys that are wanting to get started in the sport. And if I can do that, I think I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
Dude, you've checked those boxes. The Colt Nichols Atlanta fan club still has remained since we met you, and it's always going to remain all the way through. Thanks for being on, man. It's always fun catching up. Got lots of smiles tonight, lots of information. I'm sure the fans enjoyed that and got to know you a little bit more and behind the scenes of what you guys go through. So, man, thanks for catching up. As always, hit me back. I try not to bother you guys too much, but thanks for always making some time for DMXS.
Oh, of course, dude. Like I said, always a pleasure to have me. I appreciate it. And good talking.
All right, and start hydrating right now. You ought to be pissing about 12 times a day by the time you get to Saturday because you need to be bloated. You need to literally be bloated.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to get started now. As soon as we get off the phone, I'm going to get it cranked up. We got no choice.
Hey, a gallon of water, a Red Bull, and a Snickers. Let's do this for Robbie.
That might be the secret. That might be the cheat code. We might try it this weekend. I don't know.
All right, bud. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Colt.
All right, thanks,
peace. There we go. Colt Nichols on DMXS Radio. Man, what a fun one. That talking about Robbie is one of those guys. I mean, you can argue who was injured and didn't get to reach their potential, and he's definitely one of those guys. And I still don't have that one of those mags. When I moved, I lost it with him on the cover. And I've been looking on eBay ever since, and I still have not been able to find it. So one of my regrets on the move. But hey, thanks to our sponsors again who make all this possible. Man, the great folks at Racer X and MX Sports have been with us since day one, since 2001. We appreciate you guys, Davey and the Morgantown Mafia as well. W Wheels, OGO, Concept 2 Rowers, and of course Dunlop, the best tires in the business, including the new GeoMax line for all types of dirt. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. So thank you guys for being on. I just got off the phone with Brayton. We got Brayton coming up, and we've got Jimmy Martin tomorrow. So we'll be dropping a few pods here. And again, Cooper Webb, AP, and Malcolm Stewart. We've had a couple in the bin. So if you haven't listened, catch up. We're back when we're back. Peace.
From DeWitt, and you're listening to DMXS Radio.
You listen to us because we are motorcycle guys. You might even call us gurus. We are awesome.
I've been called a lot worse than that, Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, we're the guys. We know everything. I know everything about you. I know everything about movies. I know everything about the space shuttle launches and the crashes. Everything.
And because you turn to us for motorcycle knowledge, we only tell you about what's the best, Kevin, because our spotless reputation that we've built for 16 years is on the line. That's why.
Yeah, and I would not risk my crappy reputation on just anybody. That's why we are telling you about Dunlop tires. It's what we have on our bikes. I have a fleet of motorcycles, and they all have fresh, crispy Dunlops on them. If the pros have them, you know us amateurs are going to have them. They're good enough for them. They got to think they're good enough for us dorks.
Too good for Dunlops. You're a tire snob. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, good luck with that. But not just the pros use them. Everyday riders agree, and they have the testing to back it up. You can't beat the quality of Dunlop motorcycle tires.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, Kevin. Whether you're on the dirt, the road, or the track, you can depend on Dunlop. To learn more about their products, visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com or your local pro dealer. The amateur guys are working their way up. Go to a Dunlop pro dealer. Check them out. We love them. You will too.
Get ready, America, because WUSA is your #1 source for quality wheel sets in America. WUSA offers all the top brands that you and the world's best racers know and trust, like Reed, Dungy, Millsaps, Tickle, Sealy, Short, and more. All rely and trust WUSA, because all our wheels are built right in our shop in Orange, California. And if you want it custom made for your bike, like the world's best freestyle riders, Renner, Deegan, Adams, Madison, Mason, Sherwood, and others, you can choose different spoke and nipple colors for a completely custom look that'll dazzle you. Off-road riding, WUSA can build you wheels for the absolute toughest of conditions. And W also offers DID and Excel rims, along with OEM replacement spoke and nipple kits for your stock hubs. Need brakes? W offers the industry's best oversized and standard brake kits from Galfer and Brembo. Just see your local dealer or visit us at WUSA.com. Hey, you can also download the most current W catalog from the iTunes App Store. WUSA, DUBYA USA. It doesn't get any better than us.